All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, this time last year, the San Francisco Giants were the talk of the town as they were on their way to winning a franchise best 107 games during the regular season. The Giants would enter the postseason with World Series hopes, but they were soon put to bed by the Los Angeles Dodgers, who sent their longtime rivals home in the National League Divisional Series. Now, last year was a special season for the Giants as everything just seemed to click and come together as they really couldn't do that much wrong on the baseball diamond. However, that is not the case here in 2022, as the Giants are going to miss the playoffs for the fifth time in the last 6 years, while there is also a strong possibility that they'll finish with a losing record for the fifth time in the last 6 years as well. Now, first and foremost, the Giants' offense is not what it was a year ago. Last year, San Francisco they led the NL in home runs of 241, while they're currently seventh in the category this year. The Giants are currently ninth in runs scored, while they last year they were second. And the beat goes on for so many different categories up and down the offensive ranks in the National League this year for San Francisco. You think about the retirement of Buster Posey, and Buster Posey was and is a guy that it's very difficult to replace because not only for, he always had the knack to come up with the clutch play, and he was a big part of those three championships for the Giants in a 5 year stretch, but also he was a leader on this team. And, that's very, very tough to replace for any team. You think about getting a guy like Chris Bryant last year prior to the trade deadline, and he had a big time impact on the Giants coming down the stretch. Of course, he did not re-sign with San Francisco in the offseason as he joined the Colorado Rockies. But even with that said, it's not like Bryant is having that big of an impact this year in his first year in Denver. San Francisco's pitching has taken a slight step back from what it was a year ago as well. So it's just like there's so many different factors, that you can look at and say, well, why isn't it working out for the Giants this year? Then also you think about how the second half of the season began. The Giants were 48 and 43. They started off with that 7 game losing streak and they never recovered. And then on top of that, you think about the damage that they've suffered at the hands of the Dodgers during the second half of the season. The Giants have only beaten Los Angeles one time throughout this entire second half, and that gives you a very telling feel as to why San Francisco has struggled. So you ask yourself, will San Francisco be active in free agency during the offseason? I expect them to. I mean, they have some questions for some players currently on this roster. Do they resign longtime Giant Brandon Belt? Do they pick up the option on veteran third baseman Evan Longoria? We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, I expect the Giants to be active in free agency, and I expect them to try to go out there and make a splash. It's not like the Giants didn't try to make a splash last year; it just didn't work out. But I expect them to once again be in the running because you look at this team and the Bay Area, one of the bigger markets out there, but also the Giants don't want to fall too far behind the race in the NL West, if you will, between Los Angeles and San Diego. The Giants were right there last year. Obviously, they won that division. The Dodgers have kept up their pace, obviously. The Dodgers won 106 games last year. Tremendous season. It was just due to the fact that the Giants were just slightly better. But nonetheless, I do expect San Francisco to go out there and try to make some type of impact on the free agent front to get back into the mix. So that means that, President of Baseball Ops, Farhan Zaidi. He's going to be, hard at work, as well as General Manager Scott Harris, is they're going to try to give manager Gabe Kapler everything that he needs to get this Giant team back on the right track. So it just never came together, during the second half of the Giants. They showed flashes of what, helped them succeed in the first half, but it just never came to fruition in the second half. And as this season is winding down, The Giants, unfortunately, are playing out the stretch. But with that said, it's definitely time for them to hit the reset button and let's see what they do in the offseason to get things turned around for them in 2023. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.